These that were with us last month that are not with us this month. Deborah Bunning, Salisaw. Robert Chisholm of Tulsa. Carl Clark of Salisaw. Dave Cummings of Stillwell. William Dormus of Skytook. Anna Duck of Stillwell. Mindy Eagleton of Stillwell. Donald Emerson of Salisaw. John Fiddler of Dewey. Melva Glasgow of Salisaw. David Grass of Grove. Anna Hitcher of Stillwell. Alexander Houck of Veneta. Irv Knight of Collinsville. William Lane of Claremore. Dale Lansaw of Grove. David Mulalik of Claremore. Diane Mitchell of Salisaw. Geraldine Nichols of Pryor. Renee Nolan of Tahlequah. Baby girl Patrick of Tahlequah. Terry Perkins of Salisaw. Nettie Pope of Pryor. Bill Ratcliffe of Westville. Melvina Sawney of Stillwell. Thomas Schubert of Tulsa. Nathan Smith of Grove. Linda Summers of Collinsville. Tommy Van of Locust Grove. Tracy Waits Carey of Hulbert. And Earlene Williams of Tahlequah. Do the council have others to be remembered?
J.D. Graham of Jay.
J.D. Graham. Mm-hmm.
Valerie Baker of Catoosa, who was Leonard McMillan's cousin. She was the teacher that passed away of the flu that was reported in the news. John Harvey Burroughs of Claremore, World War II vet. Claire Gloria Juby Whiteley, aunt of Buell Anglin, and Billy Joe Juby of Sperry, who is a nephew of Buell Anglin.
Don.
Kenneth Seabolt, Fort Gibson is painter, and Becky Summers from Muskogee. Mm-hmm. Also one other, Leonard Habershell, Muskogee.
Okay. Perry Kane of Hulbert.
Perry Kane, sure.
Judy Gord, Skytook.
Peggy Cowart, Vastine, Vian.
Darlene Livers and Chris French from Stillwell.
Okay. And Cullen Bean of Stillwell. If we could have a moment of silence for all of these. Woodell.
Thank you, Chief. The next item will be the Cherokee Warrior Veterans Award by S. Joe Crittenden, our Deputy Principal Chief.
Madam Speaker, Honorable Council, guests, and staff, this evening we're privileged to honor 3 veterans with our Warrior Award for their service to this country. And with that, we'll start out with Mr. Robert Dye. Robert, will you come down, sir? Mr. Dye was born in 1924 in Fort Gibson and enlisted into the United States Army in May of 1943. Dr. Rickey, come down, sir, and you can help with this. And Councilman Don Garvin, please come over and help us with this. He attended basic training at Fort Francis East Warren in Cheyenne, Wyoming. During his military time, his specialty was driving a heavy truck. He was attached to the 125th Quartermaster Company and the American 23rd Infantry Division. Robert served in the Japanese theater during World War II and participated in military operations in New Caledonia, Guadalcanal, Fiji Islands, South Solomon Islands, Leyte, and Cebu, Philippine Islands. Robert was also present, now listen to this, folks, at the surrendering ceremonies and peace treaty signing with the Japanese on the battleship Missouri when General Douglas MacArthur signed the papers for the United States. He was later stationed in Tokyo as part of the American occupation forces until he was honorably discharged in 1946. During his service, he earned the Good Conduct Medal, the Philippine Liberation Medal with 1 Bronze Star, and the Carbine Expert Medal. He was wounded during battle. However, today he is in good health and enjoys taking care of his wife. Mr. Dye, thank you, sir, for your service to this country.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and thank a lot of the Cherokee Nation and what they went through and the condition we're in today. They can be real proud.
You want to bring your bride up here and get a picture with her as well?
Okay. Yeah.
I got to start first.
Council Lady Victoria Vasquez, would you help us with this one, please? Our next veteran tonight is Alfred Cooper. Mr. Cooper, would you come down, sir? Alfred Cooper became a member of the United States Army in 1969. After basic training at Fort Polk, he went to Flight Operations School in Fort Rucker, where he was trained as a Flight Operations Coordinator. After his training, he was assigned to the Presidio in San Francisco. After an honorable tour, he re-enlisted and was assigned to the Marble Mountain in Vietnam. He returned stateside to Fort Hunter in California for the remaining time of his military service. He reached the rank of Specialist 5th Class. Alfred received the National Defense Service Medal, Good Conduct Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, Vietnam Campaign Medal, Marksman Rifle, and the Bronze Star. He was honorably discharged in 1975. And Mr. Cooper, I want to thank you, sir, on behalf of this nation for your service to this country. And our third veteran this evening is Patrick Murphy. Patrick, come down, sir. Patrick Murphy joined the United States Air Force in 1965, just 2 weeks after graduation from high school. He was then sent to Lackland Air Force Base. That may mean, was that Lackland or Lackland? Typo. In San Antonio for basic training, and then went to Biloxi, Mississippi for technical school. He was given the designation of radar operator and was assigned to a radar site just east of Tinker Air Force Base with the Air Defense Command. After 2 years, he was ordered to Dong Ha, Vietnam, where he served on the DMZ. In 1968, his unit and American forces had to be air evacuated out. He was honorably discharged in 1968 and had attained the rank of Airman First Class. Patrick earned the National Defense Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, and the Vietnam President Medal. And Mr. Murphy, I want to thank you, sir, for your service to this great country.
You might really get that part, didn't you?
Don't want to do that. I'm always home. Appreciate you, sir. I'm left-handed.
I'm just proud to have served a Cherokee nation as well as the United States.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy. Ms. Fulbright, do you have something?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I would like for us to amend the agenda to include a couple of bills that went through committee today, and I move for its approval.
Okay. And would that be two items, one out of education and one out of resource?
Yes.
That we discussed this afternoon, and you should have those amendments in front of you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Do I hear any comments? This is to amend the agenda. All those in favor can signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, ayes have it. We'll just go ahead and put that down as item 2 and 3 on our agenda. Okay. Now we'll move on to unfinished business. Seeing none, we'll move on to committee reports. Earlier, it was announced that our director for the Housing Authority is in Washington this week trying to obtain future funding for us. So we'll move on to Cherokee Nation businesses and hear a report from our CEO, Sean Slayton.
Thank you, Speaker. Financially, we're reporting on November, and we had a great month, $8.5 million. It was $177,000 over budget and almost $800,000 higher than that time last year. Additionally, we contributed $270,000 in tax collections to the nation. I understand that December was a great month, and I look forward to getting those numbers and being able to report those out in February to you. We've got numerous projects underway. They're going along at various stages of completion. Things are going good. We're working away at rolling on the hotel and casino. We're going to have a topping out ceremony Monday over there and invite everybody to attend that. That's really going to be another property that we can be proud of. The clinics are at various stages of completion. Some of them are coming down to the end and being wrapped up, having to move a few dates to accommodate some punch list items and some additional work that we're doing, but I encourage everybody to look to the future and the good that all of those are going to do, and There may be one or two that we have to slide the dates a month or two, but they're going to finish up great and do a lot of good for the people. Last month, we celebrated the topping out of construction on one of the clinics at Wilma P. Mankiller Health Center in Stillwell. That's scheduled for completion in April or May of this year. The expansion will double the size of the original facility, make way for expanded services and access to improved health services for the people in that area. The $9 million construction project, as all of them, are being funded entirely by our casino profits. We had a great crowd despite the cold, and we appreciate everybody who joined them. The workers were very appreciative of their work being recognized. And the next milestone there is the grand opening. Other news, the Roland facility is going to be a 170,000 square foot facility with 850 table games and private high limit poker room. And one of the things that people are most excited about down there is 2 dining options, a grab-and-go cafe and then a Las Vegas-style buffet similar to what's at West Siloam. It will also feature a 120-room hotel and convention center, and also happy that another 100 jobs will be added there when that project is complete. Working diligently to finish up South Coffeyville. We think that we'll be able to open that in mid-February. We're already placing games in that facility. It'll be 17,000 square feet and 300 electronic games and a little dining venue there. I would also like to take a minute to recognize our employees. Were it not for their efforts, none of this would be possible. And since our gaming operations are open 24 hours a day, even during the holidays, a lot of them miss Christmas Day with their family and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And I just want to express my appreciation to them and the hard work that they put in, day out, and especially for the sacrifice that they and their families make over the holiday period. Currently, we have 6,031 employees. 4,637 are employees that are not contract or the temporary employees, as we call them. Our Cherokee percentage in the businesses that we can practice a preference is 74.1. Other Native American is 7.6 for a total of 81.7 Native American employment. And that's my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Do we have any questions? Yes, Hartley.
I don't have a question, but I just want to say something about your report, Sean.
Yes, sir.
On Cherokee Nation employment. I was looking at that, and I'm really happy that the J Laundromat is doing what it's doing. If you look at the numbers on it, it's 100% native employment there, and that includes the CEO there at the facility. So I'm proud of it. The citizens of J are happy to have that in our area, and we'd just like to see more jobs come there.
Well,
thank you for your
thank you for that input. They do a great work there. They're handling a lot of laundry that had been going up to Bartlesville, and I think there may be some plans in the future to do some additional work there and maybe somewhere else as well.
Well, we certainly appreciate it. With our main plant closing down there in Jay, it's been devastating for those people that live there. So what I'm most proud of is the Native people that work there.
Sure.
So we appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions on this side? Yes. Councilman Byrd.
Can we look into some type of franchising here, our little convenience store here adjacent to the complex without affecting the restaurant of the Cherokees, if you haven't already done that?
Well, we're currently underway to rebuild that. We're working with Marsha Halterman and Ginger Brown to get the lease ready over here. We're going to expand that facility. We'll be ready to break ground in the next few months. I reviewed the plans last week with the architect. We made a few changes It's going to be a very nice facility, and we're going to do everything we can do not to impact Johnny. And we have sat down with them and visited with them, and they gave us direction on, what they felt in terms of impacting their business, and we incorporated that into the design. And I'm not going to do anything to mess up my catfish dinner over there or yours either. So,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes. Ms. Fisher-Hong.
Sean, I don't know if I ever put it this way to you or not, but you just now told me 3 out of 4 of your employees are Cherokees. And when I got on the council 7 years ago, it was 1 out of 2. It's 50%. And I was just sitting here thinking in my mind, you helped me fulfill one of my campaign promises. You helped several of us actually fulfill some of our campaign promises. And I guess I owe you a thank you.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'll pass that on to the people, the hiring managers at the casinos and our other businesses, because they're the ones making that happen. But
I guess I probably owe Chief Baker a thank you, because he probably helped me too.
Mm-hmm.
Hurts me to say that, Bill John. But you helped me too. Okay?
Well, we've got a lot of great people and a lot of great Cherokees working for us.
Well, you made us look good. Thank you, both of you.
Okay. Yes. Ms. Fulbright.
Well, I've got a comment, and it's kind of in a roundabout way, but because the casinos are making so much money and our business is doing so great, that on Thursday and Friday, the Redbird Smith Clinic, the new addition, they are moving into it. So the clinic is closed Thursday and Friday so they can move in. And that is one of my campaign pledges. And so thanks to all the money that is being made, and that is our own casino money. And I'm very proud of that. And we're going to be moving into that new facility. And that's wonderful news because they've been cramped up down there for a long time. And we're just very proud of the good job that you and your team are doing, and we want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
And Chief Baker.
Other comments or questions on this side? All right. Good report. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that'll move us down to old business. I see none pending. We'll move right into new business. Ms. Fisher-Hawk, will you take number 1?
I sure will. Okay, this is a resolution confirming the nomination of Nathan Bernard as a board member of the Cherokee Nation Administrative Appeals Board. And I put this before the council in the form of a motion. Second.
We have a motion and second. And Mr. Bernard is here.
And this is just to fill a vacant seat beginning January 13th of this year and ending October 31st of this year.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? Ms. Watts, would you like to come on down, sir, to the podium?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I apologize. I had to leave for a funeral last time, and I wasn't at your nomination hearing in committee. I just had a few questions. To your knowledge, do you have any known conflicts of interest in consanguinity, I guess, by blood relation to any elected or appointed official of the Cherokee Nation?
I do not.
Do you have any legal practice potential conflicts of interest with anyone that's either elected or appointed?
I do not.
Very good. And you've read the Tarot Law as well as the Tribal Constitution?
I have.
Okay, very good. I appreciate your time this evening, and congratulations on your appointment. Thank you. What else?
Okay. Any other questions or comments? I think he was well vetted in the original committee that we had. We do have a motion and second. This is a resolution. All those in favor can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Yes.
Madam Speaker, we're prepared to swear him in. We have.
I kind of noticed, I figured Laura had the oath, I hope. And Judge Garrett is here, and we're just going to get this job done right now. How's that sound?
That's fine. You don't waste time.
Y'all have to forgive Judge Garrett, our Supreme Court Justice. He didn't get his robe tonight. And I said he looked pretty anyway, so come on down.
Where do you want me to go?
Why don't we do it right here? And it'll get the seal, I guess, right?
You want to do it facing you or facing?
Oh, facing them.
There you go.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. I, Nathan Bernard, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the Administrative Appeals Board of the Cherokee Nation, and I will, to the best of my knowledge and ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Cherokee Nation and the United States of America. I swear or affirm further that I will do nothing within my powers. I'm sorry, we'll do everything to promote the culture, heritage, and traditions of the Cherokee Nation.
Good job.
Two copies here, just so if you guys could execute both of those. Okay, that's witness.
Okay, we'll let them get that signed, and I bet Laura's going to take possession of it tonight. Does that sound about right? Is there a place for us to sign on that? Just them. Okay.
Thank you.
Would you like to say anything while you're here?
I would. I want to thank Chief Baker for nominating me, and I want to thank the council for the opportunity to serve the nation, and I will certainly do my very best. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to do our motion first. Mr. Walkingstick, would you take number 2?
Yes, Speaker. This is a resolution recognizing Cherokee Nation citizen Donald Van. I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any questions or comments? Mr. Van is here tonight. We'll go ahead and take our vote now. All those in favor of this resolution can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Mr. Van, would you come forward? And Diane, I think you have something you want to say too.
I do. Donald Van went to school in Stillwell High School, and we grew up together, but he was just a tad older than me, and just a year ahead of us. And I'd like to introduce Bud Campbell. Come up. Bud Campbell and I graduated together, and he and I are the ones that organize our class reunion every year. In May, we had a 68-69 class reunion and asked Donald Van to come, and Bud had an idea to get Donald a diploma that was honorary for graduating from Stillwell High School. Our principal of the high school, Neil Morton, is here. Mr. Morton, come up. And Donald Van has many accomplishments and honors. He is noted as a notable Native American artist. In 2013, he was named as a Cherokee National Treasure and was honored as a Cherokee veteran at the council meeting. And at the meeting, Van provided free artwork to all the veterans who attended the meeting. He earned the Purple Heart, National Defense, Good Conduct, Vietnam Campaign, and Republic of Vietnam Campaign medals for his military service. In Vietnam, Van served as a door gunner for the 1st Cavalry Aviation Division, dropping off and extracting soldiers from the battlefield. In November of 1969, Van's helicopter was shot down, killing all but him and his crew chief. In 2014, Van donated 300 of his art prints to the first 300 Cherokee citizens who received a home through the Housing Authority of the Cherokee Nation Cherokee New Home Construction Program. And on Veterans Day in 2014, Van received his honorary diploma from the Stillwell High School. He had left the school before he graduated, enlisted in the Army, and served in Vietnam. And so Bud and I talked about getting this done. We couldn't get the school board to meet before our reunion in May, and so Bud did it and carried on. Bud is a Cherokee citizen, and I would like for the Adair County councilors to come, Ms. Fishenhawk and Ms. Hargis, and also Mr. Van now lives in Cherokee County, so Mr. Byrd, Mr. Walkingstick, who instigated this resolution, and Speaker Jordan, would you all come to have a photo with him? And I just want to thank Bud Campbell for moving this forward. And he is a Cherokee citizen, and he and I grew up together. We graduated in 1969, so that tells you how old I am. I would also ask for Councilor Vasquez to come up because she is a cousin to Donald Van. And thank you, Councilor Walkingstick, for having this idea to recognize Donald, because we are so proud that we went to school with him. And Mr. Morton, Dr. Morton, I want you to say your memory about Donald and what he used to have you do when you were.
I'd be happy to. You know, when you have something to do with a winner, you're always glad to say something about them. I thought about this while I was sitting out there. I thought, you know, I've got to say something really good about Donald, but I do not need to cause anyone else to feel left out. There are at least 8 persons in this room whom I have taught, either in public school or in college. And among the thousands of persons I have taught several who were genius caliber. And Donald Van is one of those. Donald Van, from the Zion community, came into Stillwell High School, and I had seen Donald. I knew who he was. But I saw these kids going down the hall, and they had these T-shirts that were beautiful T-shirts. They had the likenesses of the Beatles, because this was back in the Beatles rage. And so I stopped one of those kids, and I said, "Where did you get that T-shirt?" He said, "Well, you go up to Stillwell Mercantile, and you buy a new white T-shirt. You give it to Donald Van. He takes it home. He uses magic markers, and he draws those Beatles on that shirt, and he brings it back the next morning, and he gets $5. That was a lot of money then. So I put him to painting murals in the school, and within a week, Donald was the most popular boy in the school. His first mural was of the Trail of Tears, and students would come by as they passed from class to class to see how far he had progressed in depicting persons traveling on that trail. And then to be a fantastic war hero during the Vietnam War, to come back and establish galleries all over the country. I was in a big meeting in North Carolina one time. A bank had commissioned a special painting for presentation, and I happened to be in the audience, and I looked up there and I thought,
He's one of mine. He's one of ours, and he is a genius.
Y'all get it close, like you like to.
Also, I'd like to say that in the last 4 years that I've been back in the community area, been gone over 40 years, I believe it was, lived in Austin, Texas. And we've been back here about 4 years, going on 5 now, I believe. And also recognize my business partner and a very good friend of many that were godsend, if God may say. Scott Bernard over here has been a very important person in my life as a business manager and partner for now going on 6-7 years now, really. And without him, I don't think I would have been able to get to where I am today. He has worked very hard in re-educating me back into the community here. So, and I just want you all recognize him as a very important person in my life. Thank you, council members. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, out of resources, we have a resolution coming, and Janelle, would you take that resolution?
Yes, thank you. This is a resolution opposing the establishment of an energy line route by the Plains and Eastern Clean Line in Sequoyah County, Oklahoma, located within Cherokee Nation jurisdictional area. And I might add that we have 15 sponsors that came out of committee that support this, and I move for its approval.
I was second.
Okay. We have a motion and second. Do we have questions or comments? Yes, Ms. Watts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Assuming that this information is true, I've decided that I would not abstain, that I will vote no. But we don't have all the information, I think, even if it is accurate that it's going to impact our facilities or places and locations, historic places and routes, not just in Sequoyah County, but apparently also in Arkansas. Then we have a lot of work to do, because what came out in committee, and this just was in committee today, is there was potentially that they had been contacting the tribe for 3 years and that we hadn't been informed. So I think there's additional investigations that need to occur about what did or didn't happen, and with involvement of the tribe, and then how we're going to move forward in light of eminent domain decisions by the U.S. Supreme Court. If our folks, our communities, our historic sites, our currently relevant cultural places are going to be impacted, then there's a lot of work that must be done, and I hope this isn't the last time that the council brings this up to make sure that we are on a fact-finding mission to make sure that the voice of the Cherokee Nation is heard on this issue. Thank you.
Okay. Other questions or comments? Ms. Fulbright?
Yes, I've attended several meetings on this, and the last one I attended was at the Sequoia County Courthouse, and there were officials there with the Clean Line Energy who made several comments, opening statements, and the people from the community were allowed to ask questions. Many of the landowners told their opposition to it, and mainly was that it was taking their land very near to some of them's houses. The towers are 200 feet tall, and the swag line between the towers would come down within 34 feet of the ground, and it made a humming noise that emitted a low-grade emissions, and according to the Clean Line officials, what the noise and the emissions were no more than when you walk across carpet with a pair of socks. Well, they had a big line of stuff to tell us, and I don't think it went down very well, and we had 800 people to sign a petition against it, and the superintendent of Sallisaw Schools was there. He was against it, and our Board of County Commissioners is in great opposition to it. And one of the main things, I belong to 2 historical clubs in Sequoia County, is the Trail of Tears. And we've put up markers, and on one of the sites of the Trail of Tears, it more or less coincides with it. It goes very close to Stokes Smith Ceremonial Grounds. And it's just something that is been put in by private investors. They have invested billions of dollars to do this. And somehow they got a judge to declare them a public utility, to give them that status, so that when they go forward, they can get eminent domain, they hope. This is not a done deal. The power is generated with wind turbines out in western Oklahoma. The transmission lines will carry this to Tennessee, where hopefully they're going to have someone to buy the electricity. Along the way, they have to have booster energy. And they have asked, I know the nuclear plant at Russellville told them no, they would not give them a boost to send them on down the line. And the U.S. senators in Missouri are against it. And I heard that the governor of Tennessee has not signed off on it yet. So this is not a done deal. They want to come to your door. They've hired lobbyists that'll tell you, you may as well sign this. We're coming through whether you like it or you don't like it. And they also have picked an alternate route, which is about 5 miles north of the one that's coming through Sequoia County. And it is through a very wooded timber section up around Brushy Mountain. Most people don't want it either. And they picked the line that would go through people's pasture and cattle land, where it would be more convenient for them. And as I said, the people in Sequoia County are against this, and I felt it was bound to represent them, and that's why I brought this forward. And I was glad that several of the council members are opposed to it. Some wanted to table it, bring it back next month. I said no. The comment period, one of them is tomorrow in Oklahoma City for the next 2 days. And Councilor Baker, he researched it quite a bit. I'd like to defer to him and let him speak on it for a moment.
Okay. Yes, the superintendent of the National Trail System, who oversees the Trail of Tears National Historic Trail, has also commented on this as being opposed to it because it will not only affect Trail of Tears sites in Oklahoma, but also in Arkansas. But I'm also opposed to it simply because of the effect that it has on the Cherokee citizens as it crosses their property. So for those 2 reasons, I'm in favor of this resolution.
Any other comments? All right. All those in favor of the resolution can signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Ayes have it. And we'll see that the resolution gets to the proper parties, you'll help Gail with that, or Shelley with that. Okay. All right. Are there announcements? Okay. Do I hear a motion? Oh, yes, Mr. Garvin, I'm sorry.
The big game starts at 7:30.
Well, then
Ohio State.
we better hurry up then, hadn't we? I don't know. Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those in opposition, ayes have it. See you next month.
See you, John.
Got you done quick.